Hi, thanks for watching today's video. I'm Brian, the Finance Ninja. I don't want to waste your time, so let's get to it. In today's video, we're talking about the update to my Tesla Robotaxi valuation models. If you recall, I made 6 valuation models. Today, I will be making updates to all 6. I will also give you my updated 2031 price target for Robotaxi alone. I have made some major updates. I can't wait to show you guys. Most of the updates revolve around digging deeper into the details and refinements. The fact is, Tesla's key to a huge valuation revolves around robotaxis. I will discuss the changes I made, then I will show you my 6 valuation models. After that, I will go into detail on how the model works and how I arrived at the numbers. First, I've broken out the cost per mile so you know more clearly what goes in there. So, you get your brand spanking new Tesla. She's a beauty. Just a pure beauty, perfect in every way. But what happens over time? She loses value, until you have to scrap her and let her go. During this interval, we have this little thing called depreciation. My assumption in these robotaxi valuation models is that Tesla owns these vehicles. Thus, the first major change from my prior model is depreciation. Since Tesla owns these vehicles flat out, we need to account for depreciation. Due to the large amount of cars on the road, I'm going to use the straight line method. It's very simple. Subtract the asset's salvage value from its cost to determine the amount that can be depreciated. Divide this amount by the number of years in the asset's useful lifespan. Simple, right? The salvage value on a Tesla is different than an ICE vehicle, however, mostly due to that huge, nice battery pack. So I will be using a larger salvage value for these vehicles than you would see for an ICE vehicle. The next question is, how long can these cars' useful lives be? Tesla cars are too new to know when they will start to break down. I'm assuming these cars put in 50,000 miles per year. I'll assign a useful life of 10 years, which would put the average replacement mileage at 500,000 miles. EV cars should last longer than ICE cars, so I think that's fair. I'll assign a cost to these vehicles at $20,000, a salvage price of $5,000 due mainly to the battery pack. So $15,000 divided by 10 years equals $1,500 per car per year of depreciation. It doesn't seem like much, but boy does it add up. Well, these cars also gotta be insured. Lucky for us, Tesla has her own insurance company, but we still have to expense it from our robotaxi models. We also need to expense registrations and other miscellaneous fees to get the cars on the road. SG&A is a difficult one to estimate. I put it at the car count times $500, but it could vary. Research and development is another difficult one to estimate before the robotaxi network is set up. I put R&D at $500 million per year. Elon Musk claims that FSD beta version 9.0 will be a huge step up from version 8.0. Both Autopilot and FSD are switching to pure vision. This eliminates the native radar, which will save costs and improve accuracy. Elon always gave the argument, if the radar shows one thing and the camera another, which do you go with? You can't talk about full self-driving without discussing Dojo. Tesla Dojo is a supercomputer to train its FSD neural network. I'll create a more detailed Dojo video at a later date on exactly why it is revolutionary. Let's suffice to say that Dojo will give Tesla a leg up in generalized full self-driving. Current expectations are for Dojo to launch in late 2021, but I expect early 2022. This is entirely new software and Tesla is building. Nobody else has done it. So let's say Dojo releases in 2022. Then what? You need to feed data into its neural network, have it crunch it, run its simulations, then test it in cars. Then you locate the faults, input new data, make your tweaks, rerun the neural network simulations, put it in more cars, and test it again. You repeat this iterative process until you have something that drives better than a human. Then you make it even better by iterating again and again and again. Due to the iterative process that needs to take place, Elon time, and a margin of safety, I expect FSD to be officially released in 2025, with regulatory approvals starting in 2026, starting with some cities and expanding. This can change depending on how FSD Beta 9.0 goes. If it is better than expected, then I will pull the numbers closer. This is the main reason I have pushed this valuation model out to 2031. Tesla needs time to build the network and gain government and citizen trust. I will update these numbers as we gain more information on FSD's progress. Before we get to my Tesla Robotaxi valuation, we need some base numbers. I mean, without actual real numbers, how can I create an accurate Robotaxi valuation model for Tesla? Don't worry, this will be quick. First, let's look at the potential numbers of taxis Tesla can put on the road. Uber, as of 2018, had 3.9 million drivers globally. This is the most recent number I can find. An Uber ride can cost between $1.20 and $2.50 per mile depending on location. An Uber driver can potentially put in over 50,000 miles in a year. Now this is for the most active drivers, but remember, these drivers aren't going to be doing more than 8 or 10 hours a day. A Tesla Robotaxi can potentially run 16 hours a day. Taxis has different insurance requirements than normal cars. As you can see, it ranges around the $3,000 area. Tesla will have their own insurance company, so they will be able to get lower rates than these, but they still have to expense it out. With this kind of a base, Uber should be a shoo-in to win the Robotaxi race, right? Oh, that's right. Uber sold their autonomous driving segment. Okay, Lyft will win then, right? Oh, they sold their segment too. And Waymo's geofenced. The way I see it, Tesla has no real competitor in the segment at the moment. There's companies that say they're working to get into the space, but I don't see any of them being as serious threats due to the issues noted. These so-called competitors, for instance, require extremely detailed information on the roads beforehand. That simply will not work for a generalized solution. A taxi network needs to properly respond to any kind of incident, from navigating roadwork to accidents to any number of random events. A UFO has to be able to land on the road, and the car needs to be able to maneuver it successfully and safely. Thinking the car is a train on tracks does not work. I swear this will be the last slide I show before my updated Robotaxi valuation models. Here's some traditional vehicle cost per mile estimates for ICE vehicles. I've heard the average is closer to 60 cents per mile. This is important for our models. Electric vehicles, especially Teslas, have a much lower cost per mile, which I will get into in a minute. Okay, the boring stuff is out of the way. Give yourself an applause. You've made it. Now, onto my updated model. I've included a link to this model in the description so you can play with the numbers at your leisure. Let's get into the numbers. First, let's figure out how much it costs to operate a Tesla Robotaxi per mile. This will be used in the estimated operating statement. I'm assuming a Robotaxi to average 50,000 miles per year since these cars can run 16 hours a day with no driver. Tire lifespan of 50,000 miles, cost to replace 4 tires at $500. I'm assuming Tesla wants good quality tires to help prevent accidents, but they can buy in bulk to reduce cost. Cleaning services per year of $2,000 and servicing of $200 per year. That all equates to, per mile, tires of 1 cent, charging of 3 cents per mile, cleaning 4 cents, servicing 4/10 of a cent, for a total cost per mile of 8.4 cents. Please note that depreciation and insurance are covered in the operating statement in the next section. Now, let's move on to the magic. Let's move on to the operating statement. I have split this chart into 2 segments, one without a big transition from owning a personal vehicle to robotaxis, the other with the big transition. I do not know if the huge transition will take place, so I'm pricing for both scenarios. Let's start the numbers for without a big transition. First off, with autonomous driving, Uber and Lyft will be taken out by Tesla. I think Tesla will take most or all of their business as well as add new customers, since Teslas will be so cheap per mile. Keep in mind that I'm assuming Tesla owns these vehicles. So, in the bull case, we have a car count of 5 million, 50,000 miles per year per car, utilization of 50%. Now you might be asking yourself, what is utilization here? Utilization is the amount of miles driven that is charged. I put it at 50%, which I believe is small, as Tesla will have an efficient pathing system so that cars spend more time driving people than driving empty. The reason utilization is a factor is because it affects the cost per mile. Cars will incur a cost per mile whether they are transporting somebody or not. So we have billable miles per year of 25,000. Also, please keep in mind, price per mile includes the possibility of multiple passengers in a car at the same time. The number may seem high, but when you take into account multiple passengers, it is not. So that gets you revenue of $150 billion. We get the 8.4 cents from the cost per mile from the previous tab. That gives you a cost of revenues of $21 billion, a gross profit of $129 billion, depreciation of $7.5 billion. Remember, depreciation is equal to $20,000 minus $5,000, which is the established cost, divided by 10 years, which I believe is the duration of these vehicles, which is $1,500 per car. Then you got insurance, which is $10.4 billion. Insurance I'm estimating at $2,000 per year, and registration I'm estimating at $80 per year. SG&A of $2.5 billion. Research and development of $500 million. That equates to operating expenses of $20.9 billion. That nets to an operating income of $108.1 billion. I'm assuming a PE of 60. That gives you a market cap of $6.5 trillion. Remember, this is for robotaxis only. At a share count of 963 million, for a share price of $6,735.20. And as you transition from bull to bear, you'll notice that the car count drops, the price per mile drops, the operating income drops to $66.38 billion, and a share price of $2,757.22. And if you recall, these are the numbers without a big transition. Now, if Tesla can get the price below 60 or 70 cents per mile, I predict that people will gradually begin to eschew owning a vehicle to taking Tesla's Robotaxi service everywhere. And that would be the situation where there is a huge transition. Now, will this happen? It's hard to say right now, but I think many people will, especially in cities. Now remember, this is 2031, so I'm giving the bull case with the big transition of 20 million vehicles, miles per year 50,000, 50% utilization, 25,000 billable miles per year, 70 cents per mile. Remember, it has to be cheaper for people to transition. Revenue, $350 billion. Cost revenues, $84 billion. Gross profit, $266 billion. Depreciation, $30 billion. Insurance and registration, $41.6 billion. SG&A of $10 billion. R&D, $500 million. For total operating expenses of $82.1 billion. Operating income of $183.9 billion. At a PE of 60, this would lead to a market cap of $11 trillion. And yes, this is feasible, which should give us a share price of $11,457.94. And likewise with before, with the bear case, you drop the car count, you drop the revenue per mile, you get a market cap of $1.6 billion from robotaxis alone, and a share price of $1,732.09. And just to elaborate, I'm assuming that operating income is equal to net income. Remember, the link to this model is in the description, so please play with the numbers at your leisure. My prediction is for robotaxis to contribute $6,000 to Tesla's share price in 2031. If you add in auto sales, full self-driving, energy, etc., I project a Tesla share price in 2031 of $8,000. And comment down below, what is your price target for Tesla in 2031? Don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.